Trae Young in this one still sidelined with a calf contusion as the Atlanta Hawks welcome Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets to town. Here's Kyrie in the first with the crossover and dropping the defender for the step-back jumper, putting the Nets up 7-5. Later in the quarter, DeJounte Murray driving in and getting the tough floater to go. The Hawks leading the way. Here's Kevin Durant. Coast to coast and makes it look too easy, giving the Nets the 1-point lead yet again. This time, Jalen Johnson spinning for the layup and one, and he'd make that free throw. John Collins later in the second, spinning and getting this one to go, putting the Hawks back up by 10, 43-33. Bogdan Bogdanovic in the second with the steal and the three on the other end. 14 points for him. There's three in transition, and the Hawks would lead the way 63rd, this time looking for Nick Claxton, and he'd find him to finish the reverse dunk. A.J. Griffin later in the quarter to John Collins for an alley-oop of their own. Look at that one more time. The Hawks leading the way by 4. 74-70. Here's more Kyrie in the third. Off the dribble for the layup to tie things up at 74 apiece with 5 minutes to go in the quarter. Then Kyrie yet again sidestepping for three. Here's the drive. The and-one layup. Irving with 28 points and 8 assists. The Nets leading the way at that point, 98-92. Here's more KD doing what he does best, driving in and getting the jumper to go, giving the Nets the 106-104 lead. Then Murray to Collins on the other end, the layup off the glass, 21-8 for Collins, and that would tie things up at 106. But KD would answer another drive and pull up 26 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists for him. The Hawks with a chance. A defensive rebound with less than 5 seconds to go. Murray can't get the three to fall. 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Back in action as the New Orleans Pelicans take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here he is, driving and getting it to go in the paint, cutting their deficit to 2 in the first. D'Angelo Russell on the other end with the fadeaway jumper, tying things up at 16 apiece. Then Anthony Edwards driving and getting the layup to go, giving the Wolves the 30-26 lead. Here's more from the Ant-Man in the second, driving to paint and getting the bucket. Then Zion throwing it down, driving baseline. Edwards to Naz Reid for the corner three. And the Wolves would lead the way 55-49 at the half. More from Williamson driving to the basket and throwing it down over Rudy Gobert. Then from C.J. McCollum going behind the back and getting the floater to go, the Wolves still leading 73-69. Zion this time driving and finding Trey Murphy the third for the corner three. Then more McCollum pulling up and hitting the three, 20 points for him. Gobert working inside and getting the basket to go. Then D'Angelo Russell with the jumper, 27 points and 4 assists for him in this game. But too much Zion. Here he is driving and getting yet another basket, then getting it done defensively. The steal here and the dunk on the break. This would put the Pels up 118-116. Edwards cutting through the defense and finishing with a two-handed slam to tie things up at 118 apiece. But then Zion driving to the basket and would get fouled by Gobert. Williamson would make the first free throw but miss the second. And Minnesota would rebound the miss. Edwards with the potential game-winning jumper can't get it to go, but he did finish with 27 points and 6 rebounds. While Zion, DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns in D.C. to take on Kristaps Porzingis and the Washington Wizards. Kyle Kuzma in the first, pulling up and knocking down the jumper. Then KP just a minute later with the step back. More Kuzma, driving and getting the layup to go. This would put the Wizards up by 10, 25-15 in the first. Into second quarter highlights, Kuzma driving, spinning, and getting the hook shot to go in the paint. Then he'd find Rui Hachimura for the dunk. More Hachimura, this time with the jumper, and these two would put the Wizards up 47-28. Ayton getting to work on the other end, pulling up for the jumper. Then Dwayne Washington to Ayton for yet another one. Ayton on the drive to the rim and getting the tip in to go. 16 points for him in the quarter, 31 in the game, and he grabbed 75. Chris Paul continuing to cut into the deficit in the third quarter. The jumper there, then the floater here. Then CP3 for 3 more. 12 points in the third for Chris Paul, 20 points in the game. Here's Ish Wainwright and Mikal Bridges for 3, 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists for him. Denny Avdija on the other end, driving and throwing it down. Into fourth quarter highlights, more Kuzma driving to the rim for the layup. Then the step back 3. He finished with 22, 5, and 7. Here's more KP, the long 3, 24 and 7 for him, and the Wizards would pull away to win it, 127-102. Hosting the Milwaukee Bucks in Chicago, here's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Early in the game, driving past 2 defenders for the dunk plus the foul, putting the Bucks up 17-16. Here's DeRozan in the second, driving for the tough layup over Giannis, giving the Bulls the 1-point lead. More Giannis driving and hanging for the layup plus the foul. He'd make that free throw, but the Bulls would still lead by 2. More DeRozan on the other end, the tough jumper to go over Grayson Allen, 16 points for DeRozan at the half, and that would tie things up at 52 apiece. But then a little bit more Giannis before halftime, the lefty layup plus the foul, 20 points. Here he is yet again, this time throwing it down on Zach LaVine plus the foul, and he'd make that free throw too. Then more Giannis in the third, the turnaround jumper. And the spin for the slam. Later, Giannis driving and throwing it down, giving the Bucks the 96-85 lead. But on the other end, DeRozan with the inbounds to Zach LaVine for 3. And LaVine would find DeRozan for a bucket of his own. Then, with 11 seconds to go and the Bucks inbounding, DeRozan would steal it and get it to Ayo Dosunmu for the dunk to tie things up at 106 apiece. So with 5.5 seconds to go, Giannis is triple teamed here, and he's called for traveling. So we're headed into O's inside, but gets the putback to go, putting the Bucks up 108-106. Then DeRozan to Vooch from the top of the key for 3. More DeRozan on the pull-up jumper, putting the Bulls up 115-113. Then with 24 seconds to go, Giannis can't get the fadeaway to go. And DeRozan and the Bulls pull away. LeBron James moves to 10th all-time in games played at 1,393. And there's 3 in the first quarter to tie things up at 13 apiece. Bam Adebayo on the other end, dribbling to the paint and getting the fadeaway jumper to go. Then Jimmy Butler spinning toward the basket for a jumper of his own, putting the Heat up 30-22. Then off the block, LeBron coast to coast for the finger roll plus the foul, and he'd make the free throw after this one. 27 points for LeBron in this one, 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Tyler Hero driving to the paint and finishing with the layup off the glass. Then more Jimmy buckets, spinning toward the hoop and getting the layup to go plus the foul. He'd make that free throw as well, and the Heat would lead the way 61-52 at the half and getting the baseline jumper to go. Then yet another bucket. This time, Hero on the lob to Adebayo for the alley-oop slam, and these two would give the Heat the 22-point lead, 23 points for Adebayo and 14 rebounds. Here's Russell Westbrook in the fourth with the dish to LeBron for the layup. Then Dennis Schroeder with the three. That would cut their deficit, but the Heat would still lead the way 105-98. More Butler to Hero for 3 more. Then Butler with the layup off the glass. 27 points for him in this game, 5 rebounds and 6 steals as the Heat still sidelined as the Warriors welcome the Utah Jazz to town. Kelly Olynyk in the first, out to Lauri Markkanen for 3. Then Jordan Clarkson driving and getting the floater to go. Later in the first quarter, Colin Sexton driving and kicking it back out to Markkanen for 3 more. And the Jazz leading at that point by 10. Markkanen misses this 3, but Sexton's there for the offensive rebound, gets the spin move and the basket. Then Olynyk misses here, but Sexton yet again with the offensive rebound, then to Markkanen for the basket and 1. But some nice ball movement leads to a Dante DiVincenzo 3 from the corner to cut into the Warriors' deficit. With the final seconds of the half ticking away, Clarkson to Markkanen in the corner for 3 more. Jared Vanderbilt in the third to Markkanen for 3 more, 29 total for him. He also grabbed 16 rebounds. There's Jordan Poole driving, getting it to Draymond Green, then back to Poole for 3. Then more Clarkson on the other end, fighting his way into the paint and connecting on the floater for 2 of his 22 points. More Poole. The 3 to tie the game, and Steph loves what he's seeing. 26 points for Jordan Poole, then Ty Jerome coming up with the steal and the 3 on the other end. This time it's Poole that likes what he's looking at. Kevon Looney to DiVincenzo for 3 more. 19 points and 4 rebounds for him as the
Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic in Detroit to take on the Pistons. Alec Burks with the 3 to tie things up at 19 apiece in the first. Then in the second, Cole Anthony with the pass in the paint for the Mo Bamba dunk, putting the Magic up by 30-29. But then Hamidou Diallo would get going in the second. Duran with the pass from Diallo, finishing with the 2-handed jam, then the big dunk. And the and one. The Pistons would lead the way 58-42 after that made free throw. Here's Sadiq Bey for 3 in the second. Hamidou Diallo blocking Mo Wagner. Wagner would take exception and have some words for Diallo. Minutes later, on the loose ball, Wagner pushing Killian Hayes, then Diallo shoving Wagner, followed by Hayes' retaliation, a blow to the back of Wagner's head. Wagner would be issued a flagrant 2 and ejected. Diallo 2 technicals and ejected as well. Bol with the big dunk on the baseline in the third. The Pistons still leading the way at that point, 69-52, but look at the distance on that dunk. Then with the Pistons in transition later in the third, Burks with the triple, 32 points for him in the game, and the Pistons would lead by 20, 80-60. Here's more from Sadiq Bey, a 3 of his own, 28 points and 8 rebounds for him, and the Pistons win.
Nikola Jokic getting ready for opening tip-off. Sabonis playing with a broken thumb in this one. Here's the Joker getting into the lane and getting the turnaround hook shot over Sabonis to go. That would put the Nuggets up 10-1. De'Aaron Fox to Sabonis for a mid-range jumper of his own, then more from him backing into the paint and getting it to go. The Nuggets still leading the way by 8 at that point. Then Michael Porter Jr. with the step-back 3 on the other end. The Nuggets, though, leading 40-24. In the second quarter, the Joker with the mid-range jumper in the lane, putting the Nuggets back up 53-37. Then with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock, Jokic heaves the 3 but misses. Then Zeke Naji would tip it in. More Fox, this time driving baseline, getting the floater to go and one, and he'd make that free throw. Then Bones Highland with just a couple of minutes until halftime to Jokic, who kicks it into overdrive down the lane for the layup. Fox with the steal on Jokic. Casey Okpala back to Fox for the slam, but into fourth quarter highlights, Trey Lyles to Fox for the corner 3. 31 points and 13 assists for him. Then off the deflection, Sabonis all the way to the other end. He finished with 31, 10, and 5. Malik Monk on the fast break for a couple of his 33 points and tying things up at 122 apiece. Then with 2.8 seconds to go on the Kings inbounding, Monk driving baseline and fouled by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He'd miss the first free throw, then make the second one. So with less than a second to go, 0.7 seconds, Jokic with the inbounds has to shoot quickly, but can't get it to fall. And the Kings hold on.